Hey guys, it's Mo from Mo in the Deep End, and that is Loki's butt. So we are happy to be here this morning with you, or whatever time it is when you happen to be watching this. We are here to talk about what in the world, California. California legislators, let me pull this up and get it all ready for you, have proposed a new law. And let's see what this new law says, because this is a bit crazy. California Democrats push race consideration for convicted criminals before sentencing. Now, I am sure there's a filter through which you could see this as a good thing, but in my opinion, justice should be blind. I know it hasn't been always in the past, but I don't think you rectify that by making it look, y'all, I am just a Mo on the internet. Let's see what it says. By Kevin Haggerty. Proof that social justice is a far cry from actual justice. A California lawmaker and member of the state's reparations task force is pushing legislation to rectify racial bias by making it a factor in sentencing criminals. This makes no sense. So, if you are, say, a Caucasian white person who is charged with the same crime, and you have a person of color also charged with the same crime, you want to have different levels of justice. Didn't we fight an entire war because we hate taxes, which same, can kinda get that, but also we fought because there was a two-tiered justice system. The English, got one and we colonists got the other. How in the world in 200 years do we go to from, in theory, our nation's founding being on equal justice. Look, y'all, America has a rough history, but in theory, having equal and blind justice so that the rich couldn't overtake the poor, so that, the landlord couldn't take over for the serfs. It's not perfect, but that was, the soil in which it was planted was a good soil. So let's continue. Democratic Assembly member Reggie Jones Sawyer is one of the members of the California Reparation Task Force charged by Governor Gavin Newsom in September 2020 with the task of compiling a report with recommendations on monetary and other handouts for residents in the state that never permitted slavery. Look, y'all, I, I don't have answers to questions, but somehow a state that's nearly bankrupt, I don't think can pay people. And how do you choose which people? It it is all sorts of crazy. It is not something that I think would ever make a good thing, but let's continue. Based on those proposals, that would cost California taxpayers as much as 800 billion. That's with a B. Jones Sawyer also sought to reform the penal code and provide skewed sight to a justice system only intended to be blind. It is the intent of the legislator to rectify a racial bias that has historically permeated our criminal justice system, as documented by the California Force to study and develop reparation proposals for African Americans, end quote. California's AB 852 reads in part. First introduced in February, the legislation had passed the House 58 to 13 with 9 members voting absent and continued, quote, "This bill would state the intent of the legislator to rectify racial bias as specified. The bill would require courts, whenever they have a discretion to determine sentence, to consider the disparate impact on historically disenfranchised and system impact populations," end quote. Y'all, justice is supposed to be blind. I mean, we all saw it in the Zachariah Anderson case where it wasn't blind, where in the Kyle Rittenhouse case where it wasn't blind. I mean, that has fired up so many of us. This law goes against everything. Y'all wanna know my favorite okay, so we're going back here. Y'all wanna know my favorite shows when I was growing up? Y'all, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Family Matters, Living Single. I mean, A Different World where, Bill Cosby's oldest daughter what's her name? I don't remember her name on the show, but she's Lisa Bonet, and I don't know that I said that right, but I loved all of those because I didn't care, I just love the stories, I love the families, I love the characters. I don't know it hurts my heart that my kids are now in a world where we're looking at whether or not you have dangly bits first and whether or not, you know, you have a different skin color instead of looking at the heart of someone. That's my 2 cents on it, but let's continue. Speaking in opposition to the bill, Republican Assembly member Tom Lackey, one of the 9 absent votes. Sir, if you disagree with this bill, then vote no. Uh, I am so daggone tired of politicians, you know, regardless of which side you're on, you send them there to stand up for you, not wilt like a flower at prom. Just grow some doggone balls and spines, people, and for you with lady bits, get some brass tits, okay? Told Fox News Digital, "Our justice system is intended to focus on accountability for behavior without racial considerations." Quote, "The voices of victims and any potential repercussions for public safety should be our highest consideration when making decisions that directly impact California communities," end quote, he added. As previously reported, the task force for proposals that were submitted to the legislators were not guaranteed to pass, as State Senate Stephen Balfour, another member, had cautioned. I don't want to set folks' expectations and hopes up that they're going to be getting, seven-figure checks. That's just not happening. Then, sir, why have this? How much did this committee cost? What didn't they do like 5 years a doggone it was in 2000 sorry, I'm going back up. I don't intend so, the task force started in 2020, and it's now 2023, and they've come up with this report of gobbledygook and stuff. How much doggone money could have been used to, I don't know, make tiny houses for the homeless if you wanna do that, work on, I don't know, solar stations. Look, y'all, I'm not from California. I'm not gonna pretend to know what you need. But wouldn't you be happier if they spent, like, just a fraction of this money on maybe roads or something? Y'all, I'm not from California. Y'all do what you do. You vote where you vote. I love the federal system, which means y'all get to just kinda make up your own rules, and you vote for them, and that's okay. Even Joan Sawyer had admitted, quote, "We have absolutely no idea right now what will or will not be approved," end quote. Evidently, that hasn't stopped him from throwing as much at the perceived problem as he could in an effort to see what would stick. Despite passing the House, a representative for the Assembly member's office suggested it was unlikely to see the bill advance further this year, and it was not revealed whether it would be pursued again in the future. The likelihood of any such law passing muster with the Supreme Court remained unlikely, especially after the recent 6-3 ruling that dismantled affirmative action within the university system. As Justice Clarence Thomas had written in his concurrence, quote, "While I am painfully aware of the social and economic ravages which have befallen my race and all who suffer discrimination, I hold an out enduring hope that this country will live up to its principles so clearly enunciated in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States, that all men are created equal, are equal citizens, and must be treated equally before the law." Amen. Look, I want a blind justice system. That's y'all, that's all I want. And it's sad to me that honestly, I didn't know all the shenanigans that were going on before I got really into this stuff. But I saw this today and I was like, "Oh my goodness. Should I cover it? Should I not?" And then I thought, "Hmm, might as well." I mean, I don't care where you line up politically, because goodness knows I have like 18 different ideas that belong to no different party. But I want the justice system to be what I thought it was before when I was a sweet summer child. I don't want the justice system to be one that looks at my bits, my pieces, who I love, who I don't, all that stuff. I would like to just be Mo if I can. So y'all just be you. Hopefully you like this. This is kind of, I'm just going to do some crazy stories when I see that they kind of intersect with the law, like with the Leslie Van Houten getting out of jail. So I will see you all. Loki's butt says goodbye too, and have a great day.